Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of Old Roommates. This week we will be talking about the 1987 classic Overboard, starring Goldie Hawn. So grab the very best caviar and pull up a seat while we take you back to 1987.
Hey everybody, it's Brian.
And Christina.
And welcome to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. Today's topic is Overboard, and as we always do, we're going to start with what we thought then. Mm-hmm. Christina and I have not discussed this.
As usual.
We have not. I don't know how she felt then. I don't know how she feels now about Overboard, and same for me. Christina, would you like to start?
Sure. Let's take this shallow dive into Overboard. So, Overboard, I will tell you, is one of my favorite movies.
Oh my gosh!
Yes. I don't know what it was.
So 87 was, just set the scene for us.
Sure.
You were how old? Like you were doing
1987. I was 18.
Okay.
18. Wow. And I think I watched it originally with just some good friends, and I know it was a rental.
Okay.
And so I was probably a little older, probably early 20s or something when we rented it. And I just remember it as being just a fun movie. I really loved it. It was just something about it. I really loved it, and I thought back to it, and it was just filled me with joy. And so, yes, so I loved it. I loved it back then. I thought it was funny, and I thought, Goldie Hawn was just hilarious.
Yeah. So, for me, 87, 72, 15, I was 15, and I think it also was a rental situation, and I think, weirdly enough, I think it became kind of like a family movie. I remember it was, we would like re-rent it, and I do remember liking it. I remember feeling conflicted about Kurt Russell in various stages of undress. It's good in it. And I think, but I had problems with it. I would not say it's my favorite movie, or it's not even my favorite Goldie Hawn movie. But I struggled with it a little bit, but I get why someone would love it.
Sure.
Is that fair to say?
Sure.
So let's just dive into how we feel now. So go for it.
So
I'm excited to hear your love for this.
I know and it's funny because
I didn't know this.
It's not a truly intellectual movie. There's plenty of holes, and the storyline is a little weak, and But there was just I think it was just the feeling of the movie. The overall feeling of the movie is what really attracts me to it. It's just there's not a lot of real thinking involved. It's just fun and sweet and romantic and funny, and and like I said, like even though there are holes in it and questionable actions in it still was just a fun likable kind of movie, and I think that's what I liked about it. I really liked the cast. And I just, when I was rewatching it today, not today, this past week or whenever it was that I watched it, I laughed even harder at Goldie Hawn. Like, I think she totally makes the whole movie. Her portrayal as, Joanna Staten.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah. And you showed, what was like sort of a highlight, like if you were to say the Goldie Hawn's best scene in Overboard.
Oh my gosh. Well, I loved when she was rich. Like the very beginning when she was just so mean to everybody. And just her overall just attitude. One of my favorite lines of hers is when she's sitting on the boat and she's saying about I suppose I'm supposed to walk around with these dead little corpses on my nails all day long.
I wrote that down.
I love that. I love that line. Yeah. I love when when she forgot her rings on the deck. And her husband just wants to watch. He won't get her jewelry because he's watching. He wants to see the top 10 yachts. On rich. I think it was the lifestyles of the rich and famous. And so she gets up and she's so pissed and she just grabs her robe and she's right in front of the TV. And I love like the interview that when she's getting interviewed when she first loses her memory and she's just like disgusted with the woman interviewing. She's like, oh, that wig is terrible. Just that whole, like, I just love her whole attitude. Even talking with her mother.
Yes.
Oh my
Catherine
God. How
Hellman.
can I love
Catherine
her.
Hellman. She's
Catherine
awesome.
Hellman.
Yeah.
She's just, I don't know, I just love her.
I love, so we're diving into like lines and Goldie Hawn. I mean, the gnats and the nail polish, yes.
Oh my gosh.
That is so damn funny. I don't remember that joke from the first time. And do you remember how that ends? She's like, no, I can't. I'm still tacky. I love that. I really love, there's a line where she says, oh my God, where was it? Oh, I almost, she's standing there and I think Roddy McDowell walks up and gives her like a tray of something. She's like, thank you. I almost had to wait.
Yeah, the caviar.
So great. Yeah, the caviar. Very good. And even after she loses her memory, she has some really cute lines and that are just like, she's making sandwiches. Oh, and those sandwiches. So we're going to get into my feelings in a moment, but when she's like, oh, twin.
And she calls the other one Roy because she doesn't remember their names.
She is great. And there's a lot of cuteness. And you talked about like warm, and it's a really loving movie. We'll like front load this with positive stuff. Sure. I really got a little misty with the macaroni necklace, and I love.
Oh my God, I get misty. I'm embarrassed to say I get misty throughout that whole movie.
Really?
Yeah.
So the macaroni necklace, because if you remember the scene, the little boy is sitting on Goldie Hawn's lap, and I don't know if we have to explain the movie, but basically this wealthy woman is brutally mean to this carpenter. She gets amnesia. Her husband wants nothing to do with her, so it's a rot. And the carpenter decides to get revenge by pretending to be her husband, takes her home, and basically makes her take care of his family. Mm-hmm. Sure. And then so the little kids, are kind of figuring it out, but they grow to really like her.
Sure.
And he's sitting on her lap, and he basically asks if she's going to go away, and she's like, no, and once he realizes that, he gives her this macaroni necklace that he made for her. It is a very sweet, surprisingly
it's a
emotional
sweet scene. It really is.
It's taken by surprise, actually. Because, and this is when it turns, we can go back to positive stuff in a minute.
Sure.
But I feel like I have to say this because look at my cuticles. Mm-hmm. They're all a mess.
Yes.
The portion of the movie... So if it was enough to say, like, okay, so he talks about to his friend, like, oh, listen, I'm going to have her work off the money she owes me. Right. She threw his tools in the water and the ocean.
Doesn't pay him.
She pushed him and all this kind of stuff. It's all this kind of stuff. Yeah, she didn't pay her bill. So if it was just that, I would have been more on board, if you'll pardon the pun.
Very funny.
But what happens... There's more to it than that. They do abuse her. Like, there are truly physically abusive scenes in this movie at Goldie Hawn's character's expense. And that's where the movie, I wasn't quite with it. And I was digging into my cuticles. I was getting anxious. And I didn't like...
Interesting.
I don't like Goldie Hawn being abused, I guess. Or, like, being mistreated. Well, here's the thing.
She kind of deserved it.
Did she? So, because here's why. There's a scene where she burns her hands on the stove making dinner, trying to make dinner for the family. She burns her fingers.
Right.
She's in pain, and the kids run up and blast the hell out of her with a fire extinguisher.
Right.
That bothered me, and I don't know why. I'm like, I don't know. Does the punishment fit the crime?
I don't think they were doing that intentionally. I think they were really trying to help.
Okay.
That was my take on it. I don't think that they were making it so like, oh, let's shoot her with these things, which I mean, they were hellions.
They were hellions.
And I wouldn't put it past them on another day.
Yeah.
But she burns herself, screams, everybody kind of scatters to help.
True.
And they come back with the fire extinguisher. And in a scene previous to that, when he was talking to somebody, I forget who he was talking to, Dean Pritchett, the Kurt Russell character. He was talking to somebody about how he just... I remember. I think it was the principal was saying that they were going through an arson phase. Yeah, that's right. And he's like, well, I just bought a couple of fire extinguishers.
Oh, that's funny.
And so I feel like it was like...
I didn't connect those two scenes.
Yes. So I think that's where they came running. So I don't think it was intended to just blast her. Sure. They were trying to save her.
And I'm sure the glue on the dinner plates was just a misunderstanding too, Christina?
Well, like I said, they are hellion little kids. And I think what was worse, what was the other thing? The
leaky roof, he scares her out of her sleep. There's just like really true
When did he scare her out of her sleep?
She's having that dream with the confetti. I think confetti keeps getting in her mouth.
That was so funny.
That was very funny. And then the drops of rain are falling from the roof. Yeah. He makes her sleep on the sofa because her back hurts. Only after
I felt
pretending...
I'm going to come to his defense on this.
Sure.
Because I felt like he had a little bit of a consciousness
about
sleeping in the same bed.
Yeah.
So I think he had her sleep on the sofa intentionally because it wouldn't be right for them to be sleeping together in the same bed. And he's still mad at her.
Yeah.
She's still a bitch.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not sleeping in my bed.
Yeah.
I'm going to make her sleep. And there's the excuse. You have a bad back.
Yeah.
You can sleep on the couch.
Yeah.
So I think that was within reason.
Okay. Well, I think
Next.
Sure.
I'm kidding.
Well, he does scare her out of her sleep. And he does make her sleep under a leaky roof. The kids... There are more scenes. And I think the other problem I have with this is that Goldie Hawn plays those scenes for real.
Sure.
They're like, there's not like, okay, so the scene where she gets like the poison oak or whatever.
Yes.
When she's like wailing, that's for laughs. Like, she knows comedy. She's playing the poison oak for laughs. These other scenes, she decides to sort of play them straight. Mm-hmm. And I think that was maybe the wrong choice. Yeah. Because it changed it for me. I was like, oh, well, they're just being mean now. And I don't know if I like this. And I started truly digging into my criticals. So, like, totally anxious. I was getting, like, really anxiety. I'm like, how long are these scenes going to go on? I don't like watching someone being abused that way. Well, Goldie, because she's, like, an international treasure.
So I saw it in a little different way. I didn't feel like they were truly trying to be mean to her. I felt as if this was truly who they are. They're unruly kids. They haven't had it. So the mom passed away 4 years ago, I think he said. Okay. 3 or 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. So, they're slobs. They don't know how to take care of themselves. Yeah. He's clearly not a great father figure.
Right.
He doesn't really know how to take care of anything. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it was intended to be mean to her. I think it was intended to just be like, we need you to clean the house and take care of these kids. So I think it was more of almost like an ignorance to them. And it actually, to me, sort of highlighted how much they really needed her. Because one of my favorite scenes is after, it's kind of, I don't know, midway through the movie, and he comes into the house, and all of a sudden you notice the change in the house. It actually looks like a home. It's clean. It has this beautiful lighting.
It's softer.
And it's softer. And everybody's like kind of quietly in the living room doing like family stuff.
Love that.
It was beautiful. It was a beautiful scene.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it was just like, kind of all like, look at, she's really helping them.
And it was like, I think over the course of like 6 weeks, I think they
Something
said, right? Because
like
the mother says she's been missing for 6 weeks. Or I've been talking to her in 6 weeks. So, I completely agree on that. I felt that, and it's in my notes, I felt that felt real to me. Mm-hmm. Like, it was a real amount of time. Like, but again, I go back to, like, he gives her this list of chores to do.
Right.
And it's, I don't know. But you also know this, I don't like a messy house.
Right. Yeah.
So I think, that sort of bothered me, but I agree. I think the trajectory of, like, her making an impact on these kids in the house and having it look softer and warmer and cleaner felt real. I agreed. And I think that maybe that's why I struggled in parts of the movie where it played real, even though it was pretty broad in its humor. I just struggled with that midsection.
But you think about it too, like they don't know how to keep a house clean. They don't know the work that's involved. And neither did she, clearly. So I don't know if it was like an intended thing. I think they just said, if we need a clean house, just do it.
Yeah. I do like when she fights back.
That was great. Yeah, I'm not okay with it now. Like when she starts really getting into that.
That's right.
That's so great. When she's looking around for pictures of herself, she's like, there's got to be something. Yeah. That's great. It's
I
a
wish
great
there
scene.
were a few more of those scenes to balance it a little bit. Because she is a bright woman. And the character, you would... Like that, it feels true to her. Like she was like, no, prove it. And there was and that was very broad. And I preferred that sort of approach when it was because it made it funny. When she was like, this, like, but there was a scene where she was like, "This is wrong. I know I don't belong here." And I was like, "Oh God, this is a little bit sad and scary." And it's just a little weird. And I think as an adult, it didn't bother me so much as a kid. It bothered me much more as an adult because I'm like, yeah, this is wrong on so many levels.
Right.
And maybe because I had some very interesting clients at different jobs I had in my life, that I didn't find her in the beginning to be quite so monstrous. Yes, ruining someone's equipment, throwing stuff in the water, pushing him physically off the boat. Yeah. But being mean to someone who's whatever, being a little sloppy and messy in your home trying to fix something, I feel like that's not that much of a stretch.
Right. But I think it was pretty telling about the way she treated everyone.
Yes.
You know, especially when he told her
husband doesn't even...
But when he told her off and everybody down below deck is like, yay! You know, that was more too...
That's fair.
You know.
That's true. Yeah. And I also liked... I did like later on she's like doing shots in the kitchen.
God, yeah. Oh, I love when... I love all of that.
And I love when she grabbed the macaroni necklace before she jumps in the water at the end. We're jumping.
Honestly,
but...
we are jumping a little bit.
Yeah.
So what else? What else? I don't really have a lot of notes because I just love the movie.
Look at this. I have one... Truly, I have like barely one page.
I have less than a page.
That's really funny. I think... again, Kurt Russell, we didn't talk about him very much.
No.
He is sexy in this movie.
He is, but you know, it's funny because he's not like super buff. Like he's a little bit out of shape.
I know.
But he is sexy. Something about him. He's just so like, he has that boyish charm to him.
It's like...
I could totally see falling for
with
him.
Totally. Like he has like a human... Like it's like a good body. Like it's a good body and not crazy muscular, not jacked, not shredded. Like he is like... he has a good, like, kind of blue collar body that is, you know, pretty nice.
Well, I love, like, that whole, like, and he's such a likable character, and I think that's why I'm so forgiving. He's such a likable character, even when he's, like, I mean, of course, he's, you know, and I mean, again, so many holes in this story, but, like, no one's gonna like let her go with him without like a birth certificate and all that kind of, like, just because he knows that she has like a birthmark. Like he could have had a one night stand with her. Like nobody really knows that. But I think the funny part was like they were just so happy to get rid of her. Yeah. They're like, okay, well, he seems like a nice guy. Like remember they're talking like he seems like a nice guy and he likes you. And, yeah. I like that whole thing. Like obviously unrealistic, but really fun. But aside from that kind of stuff, I feel like he's still super likable. Like he's a hard worker and he tries with his kids, but he's just not good at it. And like I love that whole like venture of trying to like do the golf course, like the new golf course. I
totally forgot about that.
Yeah, it was a great. It's like so. That's what I like about the movie. Like there's just so many like other little things that make it a little more fuller.
Yeah, and she draws the golf contraptions and all that.
And she's the one that comes up with the seven wonders of the world, and I love it. Like it's just like that whole part of it was really fun. Mm-hmm. Go on. I'm sorry, I was interrupting.
Oh no, I think but because you love the movie so much, I'm curious what you didn't. I mean, you mentioned holes, but was there anything you like? Wow, I just don't like that about this movie.
I don't like when he's trying to tell her the truth, and she's just so focused on like the underwear, and she's not listening, and it was like so uncomfortable. And I'm like, just, just insist or something, that was a little bit off for me. And then the other part that's kind of annoying, I feel like there was a deleted scene somewhere because the kids, is after she left, which, oh my God, I thought that was a realistic part too.
Totally.
It was right? Like she's just walking and he just shows up and goes, oh, hi, Grant, I'll be right out, and all of a sudden it was like, whoa, like, and everyone's like frozen. And it's like, what's going to happen next? And she's so hurt. And, oh my God, heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But I felt like there was a deleted scene where first the kids are all like planning to, they need Dr. Death and they're going to try to kidnap her back. Yeah. And he's like, no, you know what? She's living there. She's gone. And that's it.
Yeah.
And there isn't another scene with him until he comes walking up and raps on the door and they say, who is it? And he says, it's Dr. Death. So somewhere down the line, he changed his mind.
Triggered, yeah.
And there isn't a scene in there where there's no conversation. There's no him sitting there looking at a picture. There's none of that in between those two scenes. And it's like, it's annoying to me. It's like there should have been something in between those two scenes where he's realizing, no, I can't live without her. I have to go. Yeah. There was none of that.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved how messy that reveal was, that scene where you have the limo on one side, the pickup truck on the other, the kids screaming, the dogs barking, the
How
whole
sad was that when they're chasing the limo?
I know.
Oh my gosh, super sad.
Yeah, and then when she says, and I kind of was like, oh, that's interesting. She's like, I'm going to go get my things. And as soon as that, I was like, girl, you don't have any things in there. And she's like, nothing in there is mine. And I was like, ooh. What I did think was a little tacked on and a bit out of left field was the very, very, very end when she's like, a daughter.
Oh, a little girl.
A little girl. I was like, wait, what?
Huh? I kind of like that. And you know why I liked that? Because at the beginning of the movie, when she was on the phone with her mother, she's saying, oh, Grant's wanting another baby or wants to have a baby. Yeah. And then her mom says, well, if you have a little girl, you won't be, if you have a baby, you won't be the baby.
Christina,
so at the beginning of the movie, I've seen this movie a few times. So at the beginning of the movie, she was wondering if she wants to have a baby. That was like the very beginning of the movie.
Remember.
And now at the end, and then I love that. I actually really liked that part because, he says to her, what can I give you that you don't already have? You don't already have. And you do start thinking, there isn't anything. And then all of a sudden when she comes out with a little girl, and I'm like, oh, that's true.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, that's good. I think I was surprised. I don't remember this when I was younger, certainly, like when her husband's like, you have your period again? And it said off camera, and I was like, oh my God. That's kind of gross. Like, I just, I don't recall registering that when I was 15.
She said something. He said something like, "How can you have your period every week?"
Yeah,
that's what she said. Yeah. That's what he said. Yeah.
And and I loved the epic, the very crazy jumping off the boats like a churro.
Oh my God! I'm not even kidding you. I was crying. Guys. I'm not, and it was I was watching it early in the morning. I don't know what was going on, but. It was just, I love
serious chemistry. There's that really nice scene. There's another nice scene where they're outside the honky tonk bar and
celebrating her birthday.
I can't help falling in love with you, right? And they're talking, and I was like, this is one of the best scenes in the movie.
Oh,
and
for sure.
They were just like, they're really like connecting. He gets it, she gets it. And like, I buy this. I buy this conversation. I buy their chemistry.
Yeah. And they were together then.
Oh yeah,
right? That was
sure.
I think so too. But I love that scene. And at the end, she's like, I just have one more question. How old am I? And then he's like, 29. Like, it was just good. They have so much chemistry.
Yeah.
And then the end. Just that whole part with her being back on the yacht, was so great. Just the interacting with the people and like just her.
The doctor was so funny.
I wrote this down. Like I don't have a whole lot of notes.
I don't remember, and I don't remember him back when I saw this movie.
He was so funny, and he like she goes to offer somebody something, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, was that wrong?"
Yeah.
And then the doctor's like, "Well, what made you do that?"
Yeah, what made you grab the tray?
And they're all talking amongst themselves like, "What made you grab the tray?" "Well, I thought you might be hungry. Is this bad?" And he's like, "No." And he's like, "Why do you think it's bad?" "Well, because I was hungry." Like, I just like this fun little interaction.
Yeah.
That whole thing. I mean, it was, I loved her being back on the boat.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, yes, I don't really have much more. I think now we get to take a break. Let's assess and come back with our questions.
Okay, yeah,
cool.
That sounds great.
We'll be back.
Hey there, it's Brian and Christina. We just wanted to take this break to thank you for listening to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pulp culture through a middle-aged lens. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or review while you're there.
And if you have any questions, comments, or observations, shoot us an email at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. Thanks for listening, and now, back to the show. And we're back. Good break.
Great break.
Full disclosure, we're waiting for sandwiches.
I know, I'm starving.
And I didn't look at the time, the estimated time, and it's like still another 15 minutes. We thought it was going to be here before. Anyway.
I just hope my stomach growling isn't going to be picked up on the recorder.
I'm seriously starving.
Really embarrassing.
So now we're going to dive in. Kristen, any final thoughts on Overboard before we get to questions?
So my only final thought, aside from the fact that, I don't know, you may have picked up on this already, that I love this movie.
Yeah, what you said.
But no, one of my favorite scenes is at the very end when they're on the boat and they're ready to jump in for each other, and like that whole chaotic scene was just so fun to me, back and forth. And she's ready to jump in, and she's like, "Here I come, Otoro!" And she goes to jump, and then the Roddy McDowell grabs her, and you think he's going to say, "No, don't do it," because he doesn't think that she should. And he's like, "No, not without a life jacket." And I'm like, oh, I love that. I just like that little twisty.
Yeah, Roddy McDowell gets some nice scenes because he pushes the husband off the boat because he has the gun.
Yes.
I mean, it's so crazy. And Catherine Hellman, I have to say, there's two scenes where she falls off the bed. And the first one was like, stunt double, stunt double, stunt double. The second one, I don't think it was.
I don't think either one of them.
Hurt.
I know.
Well, then it made me rethink the first one. Well, the first one, she flies off the bed sideways.
Yes.
The second one, they slow on the brakes, I guess, and she goes flying forward.
Yes.
And she just like slides right off, and it's like bump. And it's like she hits her head like twice. And I'm like,
gosh.
that
I'm surprised she didn't get amnesia.
Right? Well, I think it was like, wow, that looks like it hurt twice.
It does.
But
she was a great character. There were a lot of great characters in that. But I thought that she was really fun. And her scene with her maid feeding the dog. She's like, you do not shove it. You shove it in her mouth. You just place it on her tongue.
And the dog's name was what? Shih Tzu? No, Shiitake.
Shiitake.
So good.
Yes.
So good.
So anyways.
Yeah, so question time. So we're going to do, we call it match game, but okay,
we're going to continue to call it.
Yeah, we'll call it, I want to call it match game.
We're just going to call it
but it's like our version. So I'm going to try and match Christina's answers. Christina, my question for you is an FMK. So it's a fuck, marry, kill. I'm being very generous.
Oh, I had one for you prior that wasn't very generous.
Right. Based on Overboard, Kurt Russell, Dean. Dean's friend.
Oh, Billy Pratt.
And, of course, Mr. Staten.
Oh, my gosh, that's so funny. That's funny because when I was watching this, I was kind of thinking in my head what I would do for you for the F, marry, kill. And I had Billy Pratt, Grant, and I had Andrew, the Roddy McDowell.
Oh, funny.
Isn't that funny? Because I felt like it was a gimme with the Kurt Russell.
Well, is it? Because he'll fall into one of two camps.
Yeah.
But anyway, so here we go.
All right, so I would say I would kill Billy Pratt. Oh, no.
You're wrong.
Already you're wrong? I'm
already wrong.
So I would kill him. I would F Grant.
Wait, Grant is not...
Mr. Staten.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry.
Don't you know him by his first name?
No, that's when I forgot it was
and I would marry Dean.
I got one right.
What would you say? I marry Dean?
You'd marry Kurt. I thought you would have sex with Billy
he was
Pratt.
nauseous.
I know, he was pretty gross. But Mr. Staten, I would figure, like, he's just a sour character.
Yeah, but think about it. So he was all into the ladies when he was thinking he was like a single man again, right? I mean, he was very into like the sex part of it. So I know he's probably pretty hard up. Yeah. But I think that he would be at least willing and probably
I think I may have some PTSD from The Lost Boys because Edward Herrmann is the actor, and he was the chief vampire. And he's always... I don't find him remotely attractive.
Which is interesting, because I don't remember The Lost Boys that much. I saw it once, like a million years ago. But I always find like vampires to be very sexual and sexy.
Oh, interesting. I find him to be terrifying and creepy.
Wow. One more thing we have in common.
So now I'm ready for
you got like
question.
a 30% on that one.
Yeah.
Which is failing. Okay, so my question to you, it's a multiple choice. Okay. So wait, how did I do this? What was the most obnoxious Joanna moment, in your opinion? What was her most obnoxious moment? And I have a multiple choice.
Oh, okay, all right. I actually have one, but okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Maybe this is part of it.
Hopefully it's on the list.
Yeah. Being, like a tightwad and not paying Dean.
Okay.
When she's in the hospital yelling at the entire hospital staff.
Yeah.
About them being, not able to cure her.
Mm-hmm.
On the stretcher with the reporter and being super rude to the reporter.
Yeah.
Or the caviar moment.
Oh, none of them
when
are
she
on
was
there,
like,
but
when I expect you, when I tell you to pack a staple, I expect you to pack the good caviar, not
she's like,
the $1.99
fish bait. Yeah. Throw this away. Funny. So my answer, if it was blank, I would have said when she threw the tools in the water. Because I was like, oh no.
Yeah, that was like
that was
just
really brutal.
That was crossing the line.
That was crossing the line. That's his livelihood.
Mm-hmm.
I would say then I think her not paying Dean.
Yeah.
That's shit.
No, it's okay. I already have an idea. So that's your answer.
Yeah.
I actually was going to say the caviar moment.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because it was such a waste and it was just so like elitist and
again, I feel like
it started with that was that favorite one of your favorite lines. That scene started where she said,
"I almost had to wait."
I almost
but that was played for comedy. I feel like the throwing the tools and her treatment, like it was just for me that movie struggled with certain balances of for laughs. Mm-hmm. There's really nothing funny. There's nothing funny with the sequence where it twists and she throws him off the boat and all that.
Yeah.
So I think that's great.
Yeah, and I think that's it for this episode.
And that is it for us and for this episode of Old Roommates. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or review while you're there, please. If you have an idea for the show, a suggestion, or a comment, email us at oldroommatespod@gmail.com.
And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. This is Christina.
And this is Brian.
Thanks again for listening. Till next time.